Molly Burke, who is a huge, influencer. She has RP like I have, like a lot of you have. She's a large following, millions of subscribers on YouTube, large Instagram, social media following. She was on The Daily Show with Trevor Noah, and she went on there to talk about blindness. And Trevor Noah seemed very interested in learning about, the stigmas around disability and blindness and how we're perceived incorrectly. And there's all these false perceptions. And he truly had an open mind, and it was a great segment. And if you haven't seen it yet, I'll post a link in the show description because you have to see it. It's a huge, huge moment for the RP community, and not only the RP community, but the blindness community too. I'll admit it, like I'm not the biggest Molly Burke fan. She doesn't make content for me. That's just how it is. Her content is more targeted towards women or younger girls. So I'm not in that target audience, but I do respect how she has such a large following. And I was stoked when she was on there and promoting everything. She said some really great things about dating. She talked about using a cane, having a guide dog. And it's just things like that truly change perceptions. When I'm talking on this podcast, that's a goal of mine, is to have people who don't have a visual impairment or who are losing their vision or have a disability, they listen and they kind of learn and we grow from there. And it's hard to bridge that gap because I don't know if you notice this, but when you're on social media and all that, you're part of a community, but a lot of it's like, your own community. So how do you get those people to listen who aren't in the community? How do you bridge that gap? And that's something I'm always trying to think of. And having Molly Burke come on, a show as big as the Daily Show is huge. So I'm very happy that she was able to do that. And she sounded wonderful. She had great things to say. She did a great job. And kudos to Trevor Noah for bringing her on. And I hope he brings on more guests with disabilities and all that. There's a lot of undeniable talent out there in our community. And we all know it. We see it when we go on social media. We see it when we go online or YouTube. Whether it's an athlete, filmmaker, podcaster, activist, content creator, writer, fashion designer. There's so many talented people out there, musicians, the list goes on and on. I don't have time to do all the lists, but there's a lot of undeniable talent that is out there and deserves spotlight, And I'm not trying to take anything away from Molly Burke when I say this, but there are other people who could have represented blindness too. Molly Burke just happens to have the largest audience, and I don't want to come across as a hater, but when it comes to Molly Burke, she is in her own kind of category. She's in her own kind of world. She lives the life of an influencer, basically. It's cool. She's doing a thing and she's exposing, a lot of non-disabled or non-visually impaired people to RP and blindness. So I'll give credit due where credit's due. But, Molly seems to be in her own universe. I don't see her engaging that much with people in this space. I've reached out to her to try to have her on my podcast, Silence. I know other podcasters who have tried Silence. She probably wants money, and that's, maybe that's just the level she's at. So Molly, if you want to come on and have a real conversation, I'd love to have you come on. I'll end with this. Thanks for what you do, Molly. I sent your channel to my niece. It is a great way for people like my niece to learn about the eye disease that my mom has, or her grandma, and me, her uncle, and her aunt, my sister. We all have RP. So what you're doing is effective and you're crushing it. Maybe I'm just jealous.